Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. I'm Taryn the Traveling Trainer with GoTarryn Personal Training here in the greater Atlanta area. About to welcome back another great, awesome fitness professional right here on GoTarryn TV, Mr. Andrew Wiltz. He's the Wellness Director of Canterbury Court. Now before we welcome Andrew back onto today's show, I'd like to ask everyone out there if you please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and while you're listening to today's podcast, if you could please make sure to like the video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now, you've seen Andrew Wiltz previously before here on GoTarryn TV talking about Canterbury Court. He's recently come out once again to guest speak at Georgia State University for the Fitness Program Management class. And today I'm going to ask him just to check in, see how everything's going since doing the health fair with him at Canterbury Court, since his guest lecturing at Georgia State, everything that he's doing at Canterbury Court in the Wellness Center and working with all those fine residents there. So we're going to see how he's doing and just check in. And again, we're excited because he is a very well-spoken young man, and also, as you know, he's a big daddy as well. He's got that 9-month-old son of his at home, so I'm going to ask him about that as well. And we'll get all of that here on our show today. So stay tuned, and we'll have Andrew Wiltz on the phone here momentarily. And remember, with GoTarryn Personal Training, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. On the line, as promised, we are welcoming back to the show Mr. Andrew Wiltz. He is the Wellness Director of Canterbury Court. Andrew, how are you doing out there today?
Fine, Taryn. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Great to speak to you over the phone here, and it's great to have you back on. We had you one of these Skype calls a few months ago right here on GoTarryn TV, and it was also great to see you at Georgia State once again, having you guest lecture at our fitness programming class, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about today, and also just catch up with you to see how the rest of your year's going. So, first and foremost, how is your, I guess now we're into autumn, how's your fall season going and treating you so far?
Oh, it's going well. We're just keeping the community busy. We just actually had speaking of fall, the season of the fall, we had a fall prevention talk a couple of weeks ago for the community, which is a very important topic here. Had a very good large group of residents that attended that, and our strategies to try to prevent falls. So kind of perfect lead in to the fall season. So we are continually working on that element of well-being. It's a significant portion of the focus of what we do here is keeping them balanced, literally staying on their feet throughout all of their years of life. So,
yeah, that's very apropos. Certainly, here we are, fall, talking about fall, and that was one of the stats that you had mentioned, in class, the probability of once a senior falls. Andrew, can you tell the folks out there how important and why that is important, that once they fall once, what is the statistic we're looking at for those folks?
Yes, well, each year, Taryn, millions of Americans over the age of 65 fall. In fact, about 1 in 4, a quarter of the population over 65 falls in the year. And typically, once an individual falls, the likelihood of them falling again doubles. So it becomes a problem going forward if it's not addressed. And it's a significant issue statistically in a lot of different ways as far as how many hospitalizations that occur each year. Where a 1 in 5 falls lead to serious injury, whether it's a fractured hip, or it's the leading cause of head injuries, of head trauma in the older adult population. So we're talking over 3 million visits a year to the hospitals in our country are related to falls, and over 800,000 plus are hospitalized, and a lot of it is also related to hip fractures. 300,000, over 300,000 are hospitalized over a good amount of time, because it takes it's a process of the surgery and recovery and hopefully getting them back literally on their feet. So it is a a significant concern and issue in the aging population.
Oh yeah, certainly. I'm glad that you guys are, of course, addressing it and definitely taking care of everything appropriately as you do there at Canterbury. And so that's wonderful that you do everything you can to not only prevent it but also treat wherever necessary. So also I've got to say, as always, Andrew, the presentation, you knocked it out of the park. The students loved you, and so I guess touching upon some of the key elements from your presentation, I really found, and again, this is the second time I've seen you present, because you presented earlier in the year to the other class, at the last semester. But can you, I guess, tell the folks listening a little bit about the 7 dimensions? Maybe we can just go a little further and deeper into that, please.
Oh, sure, absolutely. It's really important, the whole person wellness concept of not only their physical well-being is of significant importance. It's a main point of emphasis in our fitness program. However, the other elements in order to navigate life's challenges as you get older, it would be ideal to have all the other dimensions that lead to a sense of fulfillment. And the 7 dimensions, starting with, of course, there's the physical wellness dimension. There's social interactions. That's very important. Social dimension of wellness, in that they're not isolating themselves. They're actively involved in the community. They're reaching out and participating in support groups if needed, if they're experiencing a limitation as far as whether it's hearing or vision. So then we also have their spiritual well-being, which here we are a faith-based community. Though residents here are met spiritually at wherever they are in their journey, we have enhancement on spirituality in our gardens and meditation. And so that aspect of life is very important to have a higher purpose. Another dimension of wellness would be their vocational, that they're wanting to get involved in community life and making a difference. They're volunteering or participating in a committee or helping with community operations here in some way, whether it's flower arrangements or being a part of the scholarship committee. With their backgrounds, those, of course, that have an academic background, it's an incredibly beneficial program here for the staff as well, because the residents oversee that. It's very organized, and the staff here could potentially pursue their dreams and go to school, and it's supported with a foundation, a scholarship fund. So that there's the other. So I've touched on a few. That's physical wellness, social wellness, spiritual, vocational. There's also environmental wellness, the surroundings around their life, whether it's being outside or even internally within the community, to bring brightness into various areas, like, for an example, flower arrangements, just to touch on making the environment positive in general. There's an emphasis of that here, and recycling, and a strong coordinated effort amongst the residents and the staff here that we recycle everything, and it's very impressive. There's a recycling committee that oversees that with the residents, and we have pickups, and large amounts of recyclables are sent out. And that's another prime example. So it's touching. And then, of course, emotional wellness is a significant aspect of how our residents navigating and coping with certain stressors. And as we get older, there's loss of various physical capabilities. So what can we do to open up and discuss and address it? And also related to depression and anxiety, we have support groups for that. We bring in a lot of laughter into our programs, in a sense of this is a community where everybody wants to thrive for positive thinking and living life to the fullest. So yes, bringing all those dimensions in, the wheel, all 7 of those are something that we look at in each individual. And not everybody's going to be strong in certain areas. And what can be good about this is there's avenues that they can pursue to feel more of a sense of fulfillment. And if there are limitations in one area, they might have strengths in another. and to accentuate those strengths to serve a greater purpose in community life.
Oh, that's wonderful. Excellent. That's great implementation, and I'm just very impressed with how you guys just have that rolled out. And now at Canterbury Court, Andrew, I think now you've been there is it 12, going on 13 years? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's wonderful. So we're closing out, getting towards the rest of the year. I guess two-part question to you. What are the short-range goals for the remainder of 2018? And then looking ahead in the next 2019, 2020 long-range goals and vision that you have for Canterbury Court?
Well, more the short-range goals always is that we want to be able to reach out and connect with every resident in this community. Mm-hmm. We have over 260 plus residents. And so understanding that there can be challenges that will happen in one's life, and one getting busy, one of the short-term goals that we have here is trying to connect with maybe some people in the community that we haven't seen as much, and see what we can do to add to the fulfillment of their life. Mm-hmm. I'd say, always we're looking to have more involvement in other aspects of getting outside, walking out with the weather, getting a little bit more cooler. So kind of from a fitness standpoint, getting more walking groups outside again. And just general, just having our classes full, trying to provide stimulating topics for discussion. In fact, the next wellness talk I'm collaborating with the resident. It's on the power of positive thinking and finding happiness, which is ideal considering the holiday season's coming around. And for some people, that can be hard to navigate, losing a loved one, where the quote-unquote holiday blues are the stresses of the holidays, trying to get things done and be prepared for family to visit. So, having balance is probably more the short-term goal about the immediate things that are happening seasonally. Mm-hmm. And I'd say long-term, we're always looking to expand on what we're doing. We're building on things that have been successful recently. We have a chair yoga program that's really doing well, and we've added another class. I've enhanced on some of the areas where we have the space that we have, which we're eventually going to get more space. That will be the plan. But I've have a restoration area. I call it restorative therapy, an elevated PT mat to do lying exercises, but it's elevated because as we get older, it's harder to get on the floor. Mm-hmm. And I've enhanced on that area with some additional, more physical therapy related resources that they can use, that they can continue to perform their prescriptions that they get from our rehab team. Because that's the key here, is it's a comprehensive wellness model. I really work hard emphasizing the importance of the communication that we have with the medical team here and with the rehab team, where they're getting all the facets of care and they're getting reminded of doing all of these things on a weekly basis.
Very
so
good.
that more long term, it's just really building upon that model and that principle and making it even more, making it stronger going forward.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, that's wonderful. It sounds like you guys got really good programs in place, and as we've talked about before, the hydraulic machines that you have are wonderful, and all the classes that you have available. And then, of course, I got to come out and have some fun with you guys for the health fitness assessment day that we did back in May. When is the next health fair or health assessment? Is there any days scheduled coming up, Andrew, for that? Anytime?
Yeah, we plan on doing that probably. I normally wait post-holiday season, mm-hmm. March or so, to do the next fitness assessment.
Cool. Okay.
This past year, we had about 80 residents that did it. So we try to do that at least once a year. Mm-hmm. We won't miss a year with that, believe me. And then the health fair, we're looking at working on that probably quite soon, and maybe in the fall of coming up fall, actually, will be another health fair. Yeah. Where we'll bring organizations from the greater Atlanta area which we had a great amount of success with that. And the theme of being around the 7 dimensions of wellness and how we address it here as a community, and what other services are out there for people to be enlightened of that are beneficial to the well-being of the older adult in our community and just the general Atlanta area as well.
That's wonderful. That's excellent. And another question I have for you, Andrew, you shared this with the class, but I guess we could share it over the podcast. Some of the success stories that you have for some of the residents, one of them being the last final slide in the PowerPoint presentation of the 90-something-year-old running in the Peachtree Road Race. Can you mind sharing about her, please, Andrew?
Peggy Smith. Yeah, she was 95 when she did the Peachtree Road Race. She walked the Peachtree Road Race, and now Peggy is 98. She works with me in the Wellness Center a couple of times a week, working on her strength. In fact, after our class, she decided to take a walk outside in the back and get out in the garden. She's an amazing individual. I see her. We're going to be celebrating her 100th birthday, and she's actually expressed that she'd like to do the Peachtree at 100.
Oh, wow.
So
oh, my God.
Her training is, she gets around very well. She's one of our success stories. We have a lot of success stories here. We have a lot of residents in their 90s that are highly functional, getting around, getting on the floor, performing crunches, having no problem whatsoever getting on the floor, getting back up. And the key to that and the formula for their success has been they've all been consistent. They never miss. They're coming down every week. They're dedicated. They're committed. It's an enjoyable habit that it's just like brushing their teeth. It's like a part of their life. It's part of their routine. And that's probably the good fortune, Taryn, I've had in staying here at Canterbury for the 12 years I've been here and been overseeing the program, is all seeing the success of these case studies of people that over the last 10, 12 years that are some going into their 90s that are highly functional and scoring on the fitness test at levels of someone 8 years younger than them. So that's really a testament to, if you adhere and stay actively involved on a weekly basis in your health and well-being, what can be accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. And Andrew, if you hypothetically have a person who is given up and they look at you and they say, I'm just too old to start working out, I'm too old to exercise, what's the best way, I guess, to get around that, and how would you respond to that person?
And that is, Taryn, that's really, when you have a situation like that,
mm-hmm.
Of course, immediately I'm going to say any age is the right age to start.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to just take that first step.
Mm-hmm.
Just start slowly. We'll build it up step by step, and gradually you'll start to feel and experience changes in how you feel in general. You're going to notice subtle changes, and perhaps maybe it's easier for you to get up from a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And motivate. The motivational component would be, to still be able to walk to and from, like literally going to go to the symphony, or walking down the hall, or getting up from a chair. I mean, those simple, basic, fundamental thoughts. If someone is, I think a way to motivate them is, if you don't do this, and you're going to end up being in a situation where you're in an infirmary, you're in a wheelchair, you're not going to be able to get up from a chair. And do you really want that? So part of it would be just the thought of, like, do you still want to have that independence? You want to maintain your independence and not have to depend on someone else. So I think that would be a tactic that I would try to use with an individual. It's like, oh, I'm too old. And yet still maybe they are functional, though they're starting to, unfortunately, get a little, they're getting less active, and the less active you become, the more your muscles atrophy, as you know, and the more you'll get to a situation where you potentially could be getting into a state of morbidity or frailness that you can't get out of.
Mm-hmm. No, good point. Yeah, absolutely. My philosophy is slow motion is better than no motion. I always say that to all my senior clients. But you just used a word, morbidity, just now, and I know that the thought of compressed morbidity is very important to the folks at Canterbury. Can you kind of, I guess, explain what is compressed morbidity and how do you, manage that over at the Wellness Center, please?
Well, yeah, essentially our mission is for the residents here to live at their optimal level and to perform at their capability to be able to maintain their independence. So a part of that is to educate them about not only the physical wellness components of Terrence, but as you know, the other dimensions of wellness, and that if you live life to the fullest, you're generally active and sociable, and you're proactive about performing all of those dimensions in your life, there's a good chance that you're going to be highly functional. And then when the time comes, the key is that you have to maintain that consistency, as I mentioned to you earlier about the ones in their 90s that are doing so well, getting on the floor and doing crunches and are very functional and sociable. The key element there is that we emphasize you want to do this to the best of your ability, so that way when your time comes, it happens quickly. And most people buy that selling point immediately. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to live their life. They don't want to deteriorate slowly and gradually come to where they're not mobile, they're not getting out, they're not socializing, they become isolated, which leads to depression and then dementia and this slow degenerative decline in their overall well-being. So most residents buy into then our model of performing and doing regular physical exercise, to be engaged in community life, to be sociable, to have some meaning in their life in some way, or even, whether that might be meditation, from a standpoint of spirituality. They're actively involved in community life as far as volunteering. So when they do all of these things, there's a good chance then they are going to compress and not have that slow state of chronic disease, which then leads to death. They are living life to the fullest. And when it happens fast.
Yeah, that's definitely the best way to go. Absolutely.
Right. You are increasing the odds if you do it that way. You know that so.
Yeah, it just makes sense. You're right. That's good. I like that. Very, very good. Excellent, Andrew. Well, as we're coming to a close here, I guess the last couple of questions I have for you is, let's see, your son is now 8 months old. Is that right?
9.
No, 9 months old.
Today.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Well, happy 9-month-old to your little one. That's amazing how fast time's flying by. That's crazy. I just remember the other day it sounded like he was born, and now he's here. So how's that been? How's your work-life balance been since then?
Oh, it's great. It's certainly been a life changer for me as far as, here, my work. I love what I do, and it's a high energy job. I got to be on, and then I see my son sometimes a little tired, but then I'm rejuvenated by his smile, and fatherhood is great. He's growing, and I'm seeing him just change, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch, and just stay very busy. Absolutely, very busy, and it's a blessing.
Yeah, yeah, certainly,
and,
it's true, and it's a good.
So you know that as well, Taryn, right?
You're right. We got a couple of guys, and it's a good motivator for us to stay healthy as long as we can, so we can keep up with them. So.
Oh yes, I'm 48 now, so kind of starting a little later, and it's very actually statistically. People that have children at a later age, the longevity is increased, especially in women that bear children at an older age. And, I can see that from the standpoint of how we're going to be running around chasing him, and it's definitely motivating, my work and maintaining my fitness, and realizing I'll be having to chase him around too as he gets more mobile, and I look forward to that and get out there and playing ball with him and everything. So I plan on being is because my son, well, I'll be in my 60s when my son is heading to college. So I plan on still being able to throw the football with him out there and stuff when he's in college.
Yeah, I mean,
my arm might be a little bit stiffer, but I plan on doing that with him.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, they say 60 is the new 40 now. It really is. The whole concept of younger next year. I mean, that's where we're at now. All the new modern technology.
I like that, Taryn.
It's true.
10 years younger. I plan on being. I've always thought physically try to be 10 years younger than my biological age, but at 60, I like this idea of maybe feeling 40. So.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can have a podcast on that in about 20 years.
I think
actually, wow, yeah. It's less than that. Gosh, so do that.
That'll be fun, yes. That'll be interesting to do that later and look back on it. But that's great, Andrew. Thank you so much. Before we let you go, last questions. Can you please give us the best contact information, I guess, for you and for Canterbury Court, please? Yeah,
sure. If anyone would like to know more about what we do here or talk to me, our website is accessible. It's Canterbury Court. I believe. I guess I'd like to maybe just put in as Canterbury Court. It's funny, Taryn. I don't really visit our own website that often, but if you typed in Canterbury Court retirement community, you'd see our website, which you can get a little more of a feel and understanding of our community. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you're welcome to call here as well. And our main line is 404-261-6611. And you could just ask for Andrew Wiltz, the wellness director, and I'd be more than happy to talk to anyone that had the time to listen to what we had to say and are passionate about this and want to talk more about it.
Excellent.
And thank you, Taryn, for having me on.
My pleasure, Andrew. Thank you. Always fun, and we'll definitely look forward to the next one of these with you, and also the next round of having you come out and guest lecture at Georgia State for the spring semester, too.
Look forward to that. I enjoyed the last time, both times I've done it, Taryn, so look forward to it again.
Thank you, sir. All right, Andrew. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and folks who are watching right now on the podcast, here comes the website link and the phone number Andrew just mentioned one more time. We will see you, Andrew.
Okay, Taryn, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.